Hello and welcome to a hashtag crypto trading video for today, Thursday, 7th day of December, 2017. My name is Derek, and everything you do within your own risk and your own reward. There will be no charts in this video. I will be going over that of chart requests, buy orders, Bitcoin withdrawal fees, portfolio strategy, the CME market futures in regards to cryptocurrencies, the Bitcoin top, as well as its dips and retracement, and the altcoins dipping. So that will be the subject I will be talking within that order. So let's get started. And at this stage, I am not planning on taking many at this time. I do have a tip jar in the more information box. I don't need it, but if you really want my analysis and questions that I can answer, I will be more inclined to do so and such. And just like a barber who doesn't need to cut hair, if someone needs a haircut, and I can do it. So I understand if you are in demand for that type of information, I can do it. And what I've put in there are the Trezor wallet hardware wallets for the main codes like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, and ZEC, and then the discounted ones that don't cost much to transfer in Coin and Pinkcoin, because then you're basically not even paying a transfer cost. Now, given that I only have about 300, 400, 500 viewers on average, it makes it so that can actually be possible. I really don't want to have a channel with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 consistent views at this time. I like it as is, and maybe around 800, 900 would actually be pretty cool. And I don't even know how real those numbers are. I suggest that they are, or if they're down, everybody else is down, which is interesting how the views that I get are much lower than other ones covering cryptocurrencies. I find that interesting. It's been this way for many years, but so be it. Now let's move on to buy orders in the Bitcoin market. Bitcoins are worth about twice as much the value now, and 0.01 Bitcoin is worth about 0.02 from just a few days ago. And then if you're going back months and many a months, that's a major difference. And I removed a few buy orders today and reduced the amount to spend and lower prices, and a few of those lower prices got ordered and executed. So therefore, if there was a price where I was looking, well, I just basically reduced the amount spent in Bitcoin 30, 40% lower in most cases. And even oftentimes, instead of buying where I was, I'd reduce the numbers like 10, 15, 20%, in some cases significantly lower than where I had the buy orders. And be aware of your orders. Plans to buy and sell is the best advice that I can get. Knowing your strategies of what you're going to do after you execute buys, why you are buying at a certain level. Same thing, of course, with the sell strategies. And let's move on to the next topic. And this is going to be transaction fees for sending or withdrawing that of Bitcoin. I'm going to go over 4 different trading sites as well as what I've seen within my hardware wallet today. At Cryptopia, 200,000 Satoshi cost to send Bitcoin. That works out to around 34 US dollars. And that's just outrageous, to say the least. And you can say, you know what, that's what Bitcoin's all about. If you're buying big things, you just have to pay more. If you're going to buy a car, or if you're, heck, even if you're just going to buy something like a nice lawnmower or something, it's not that bad of a spend cost. And, well, if another coin could do the exact same transaction and do it at a much significantly lower cost, I'd rather pay $1 to as a transaction fee when buying a car rather than 34, knowing that the sum that I'm paying is exactly the same. And as the prices go higher and higher, you're going to notice transaction fees continuously to go up and up. So for Bittrex, they have 100,000 fees. That worked out to $17. Hit BTC, still expensive, but not, it's doable, I guess, at around $6.80. Now Poloniex has 10,000 Satoshi, which has been super, super cheap for a while. Now it's barely noticeable at $1.70. So my struggle today to get Bitcoin into my hardware wallet, I've managed to get a little bit in, but not much, is to get funds over to Poloniex so that I can sell them there and then turn them into Bitcoin. Thus, on different sites, like say on Bittrex or Cryptopia, buying coins like Pinkcoin and anything like the Litecoin or Monero. I think you can't. I don't think you can send Monero to Poloniex. I only see like they don't have both the fields you have to put in. There's two different codes you need to send. I don't think anyway. But any code that you can successfully send over there, that you realize you can hopefully, and even try to strategically try to make a quick little trade where, for example, if a particular code is selling for around 2,000 Satoshi, then try to buy it for like 1920, 1950 if you can, and even see if you can get a small profit. That's what I am trying to do. It's becoming very difficult right now for me to get funds into my hardware wallet. I'm very pleased that I have a decent amount there, and I'm trying to add a little bit more. But being aware of transaction cost, I think, is very, very important. But overall, it's like if you buy, say Pank, I'm going to buy like, say, I don't know, whatever it is you want to withdraw. I'm going to buy that amount on another site, like say Cryptopia, because you're not too enthusiastic about paying $34. And then you pay the nothing of a cost of transacting it to, say, Poloniex. Maybe go out for lunch for a little bit or do some stuff around the house for 45 minutes. That's a little bit different, or even a half hour. And then you can come back and then make your sale and then transfer the Bitcoin out. That's the type of strategy that I'm trying to employ. Now, unfortunately, it used to be easy back in the day when Doggy, D-O-G-E, was like anything over 60, 70, 80 Satoshi, because I didn't mind selling it at a 1 Satoshi loss when I really needed to do a transaction fee differential. As long as it was like at least around 80 to 100, especially when it was like 120, it was so easy. When I really needed to transfer, like if it was like buying at 120 and then selling at 119, well, it worked out that I was only paying about a little over % to do the transaction. Although back then, Bitcoin fees, although high, were not quite as bad. But how are the fees going to be with the insane Bitcoin prices that have been stated by folks like Mr. McAfee and so many others? And let's assume you go 6 digits, upwards to 7. Are we going to be talking about $100 or $200 transaction fees? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think $100 cost for transactions is much fair in the sense of hyperinflation. After all, isn't a dozen eggs worth about $100 or so? Or maybe $50? Just saying that when prices of real goods go higher, this is essentially one of the other real goods, I would assume. Now let's move on to portfolio strategy, and these are all questions I think one should ask to themselves. What is your strategy, and are you executing it correctly? What can you do to improve your returns, and are you happy with your overall asset diversification? Meaning, maybe you started Bitcoin out with just a smaller amount. I mean, it's just a fraction of your fiat currency and your precious metals and whatever else that you're investing in. Next thing you know, everything's been going up. You've made a few successful trades on the side. And now this portfolio is worth hands over fists, worth more than every other one that you have. So maybe you might decide, okay, maybe I should take some out and buy some of this, maybe a bit more silver and gold. Maybe I should, just different little things that you have within your asset portfolio. And especially different things like, say, fruit, food and energy preparation. If there were just things that you were looking to buy, like backup energy power generators, any type of cooking supplies, any type of long-term storage food that you can hold for a significant period of time. Any of those types of items that maybe you weren't able to afford as much before. Taking that and diversifying it in these types of measures, I think, is a very good idea. And the bottom one, if you were to happen to have your crypto value in your local fiat currency, how would you set up your portfolio up today? Meaning, if you were just starting to get into cryptocurrencies, and whatever you had, let's just assume you have that in your bank account ready to go for anything you want. Would your portfolio look anything near as it looks today? And this is a good idea to know for decisions on what needs to be bought and sold, especially if you are unsure how your allocations are going, or you know it's a little bit off. It might be a good time to just sit back, put some numbers into a spreadsheet or on a piece of paper, or write some things down, and then come to conclusions what might be needed for the best strategy moving forward. Now let's move over towards the market futures, the commodities exchange, regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And is a large rally we have been having got anything to do with this? Is the CME buying to allow delivery of Bitcoin? Question mark, as the Bitcoin prices have been rising very, very high. Christodad, who makes a lot of great comments very frequently within my videos. Thank you for watching, so I know you're watching this video right now. Talking about running it up to like decently large numbers and then shutting the market down, just seeing large retracements. And further attention to enter more human brain cells about Bitcoin. Bad for the CME and the markets in general, question mark. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of people who have not or barely heard of Bitcoin that will do so. And how many old school traditional traders will switch over to Bitcoin moving forward with their recognition? If I showed a traditional day trader 4 hours of my afternoon, and really any time because this market moves 24/7, they would be amazed and hooked, I think. For I can show them different things about just the regular buy and sells, as you can just do like you would traditionally within any market, the buy and sell order strategy, transferring funds from one site to another, how easy it is to spend Bitcoin as money. Because for myself, there is really only two real forms of money for me. Rank number one is the Canadian dollar. That is extremely easy for me to use right now in trade. Number two is Bitcoin. That's really easy for me to use in trade as well. Not so much in town, but within the internet, I can get many purchases, and ends to a mean, I can actually buy gift cards to selected merchants and thus use Bitcoin to go into places like Home Depot or whatever franchise that happens to be around me. So that'd be the second form of money. Now the US dollar for me, it's hard for me to use. It really is. I could probably go to a few stores in Canada where I live, but I'm going to be oftentimes rejected or having to pay such a large transaction fee. But it's most certainly easier to do that than gold or silver right now at this stage. Let's move on further now and talk about the Bitcoin top and future dips, or the retracement that is most certainly going to come. Right now it is parabolic and impossible to call levels when trying to pick the top. Maybe we've hit it, maybe it goes to 20,000 plus, maybe it goes 25, 30, 40, 50, 100,000, 250,000, or maybe even 1 million. And I'm really not kidding too much when I say million or 250,000. I mean, I guess it's realistically possible to happen in the next few months in this parabolic state that we are in. But when you're trying to state that these insane large numbers are coming in the near term, it's really laughable unless you're in a situation where technical analysis says you're in a parabolic state. And by the way, technical analysis says we're in a parabolic state right now. I would expect a minimum of a 50% drop in prices. And the higher it rises, the larger the percent drop you can expect moving forward. Going right now from basically 5,000 to 20,000 means at least a 50% drop. We've been close to 20,000. Coinbase traded close to 20,000 earlier this morning. And if such a case is to occur, it wouldn't surprise me that it goes back to 10,000 now. I stated before the last, well, maybe 3-4 days ago and earlier, 2 days ago even really, that we're really not out of the woods for like the 5,000-ish area. Well, I kind of think we are now. I don't think it's going to come back down to 5. A 50% move down again is 10,000, and you could definitely pierce below it. 8,000 is not out of the woods. But I think there's a good chance that if it tops in this area now, it's not going to retrace any further. And there could be small retracements before the big one, like a 15%, 25% drop, even a 30% drop. And then later on, there is going to have to be another obituary for Bitcoin, and there's been many. It's just we're due for another one, I think. But due, it means it could happen in the spring or the summer as well, or some significant period of time moving forward. Assuming Bitcoin goes to 30,000. Now, if it keeps going up and up, it's going to be like, yeah, now it's going to pull back like 60% or 64%, or it's going to give up well more than half. So if it keeps going to 30,000, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back like around 13.5 or so. Maybe give back 60% if it goes to 50,000. And even give back maybe 65% if it goes straight up to 100,000 over the next few weeks. And I'm not laughing too much in the somewhat long shot realistic odds that it happens. I would easily take 100 to 1 odds on this to happen in 3 months, maybe 200, 300 to 1 odds. Normally I would never take a market to go up 5 times in that duration of time. But it's in parabolic state right now. But it's just important to note that when you're in such, it's very difficult just to state what's going to happen as far as, oh, will it go up another 50, 60, 100, 200, 300%? Maybe. And is it going to go down now? Probably not, maybe. But at some point, you just got to realize that it will. And the higher it goes up, the higher the low will be, but the higher the correction in percentage terms as well. And finally, let's talk about the altcoin large dips. There's been many decent percentage losses versus the United States dollar for many coins. Was this Bitcoin buyers selling large altcoin holdings to buy more of such? So we've seen the Bitcoin market go from 10,000, 12,000, 13, 14, 15, 16, even up close to 20,000 as mentioned. But over the last several days, how much of this has been because of such? But really, over the last day, 2 or so, I kind of wonder, is this the CME group possibly, or whoever is in charge of this, just doing their way with such? To me, that makes me very confident because this is just large portfolio traders doing what they need to do to basically buy Bitcoin. There's always going to be the followers that will ride the money, hence, aka, follow the money. And because of such that I'm very confident with a gulp feeling as we move forward. I'm taking a chance holding majority of Litecoin, Ethereum, Extra Bytes, XBY, which is a speculative play for myself, but everything else is in major codes with a good holding in Dash, Monero, and Vertcoin. And many more speculative coins, but I am not speculating my strategy at this time. Many buy orders have been filled lately with the old gulp because are they going to keep going lower and lower and lower? I know that this strategy works because markets go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. So all these things are going down. They're going to be going back up. I'm not trying to pick a bottom. I'm just trying to buy as it moves in sessions on the way down, and then trying to pick returns, desired returns. And each code has different desired gains, but 30% move from where I buy from, 40%, 80%, 200%. With some pairings like, say, Ethereum and Litecoin, I'm really not looking to get 300, 400% gains on those ones. So it's kind of dumb for me to try to put sell orders for those large numbers, but anything can easily double or triple against any code. Codes like OK Cash, Unbreakable, I've been buying those today. But I'm looking to get like 10 times, 15, 20 times gains within those in the future. And then let's now move on to, I guess this is the last thing that I'm talking about. So I'm now going to conclude this video, and thank you for tuning in. And I'll be back again. I might be back later tonight, but probably not. I'll talk to you later on. Bye-bye.